ocean becomes a desert. Roll of dice, got a lucky surf.
Hey, folks, Ryan O'Neill here with the Love and 3X podcast with what is supposed to be episode 1 being recorded as episode 3, but gonna air as episode 1. So I'm here with my man, Patrick. Is your middle name Jay? Is your middle name start with a J?
Yeah, James, but I don't really tell people that because I'm always paranoid people are gonna start calling me PJ.
Ooh, good.
Yeah.
You know what? That your show, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I guess now it's out in the open.
One
now.
is out. Two, I'm in another group with a dude we call PJ. So
yeah, I mean, PJ's it's a fine whatever nickname or name or whatever it is, but like I just don't think I don't think it really fits my whole lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not a PJ. Our PJ is
I'm not a
PJ. Yeah, Patrick J. Meyer. I've been saying that, and I was like, what is his middle name with the J?
That's very official, man. I don't even think I put the J on my tax return. You know?
I don't know how I know that. I may
my email probably. My email.
I wonder. Well, anyway, Pat is Pat's a man of many talents. He's a musician. He's a drummer. He's a guitarist. He's a bass player. Pat and I played in some bands for a couple of years when we lived near each other. Oh, look at that. Pat's also one of the other things that's great about Pat is he's a father. He's a great father. Yeah, there's this kid. This is not going to be recorded. This is not going to be video, by the way. This is all audio, so you're fine.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And so if folks follow me on the socials, they know that I posted a screenshot of a conversation between me and Pat where he suggested, of course, I can't find it now. I'm going to look it up on a computer, where he suggested I turn Love and 3X, Love You Forever into a dancehall song. So yeah. Pat, talk about that. What made you first I realized you listened to a rap remix of Sunday Morning and you were like, yeah, this got me thinking you should do a dancehall popcorn style. So yeah, what made you say that?
Yeah, well, I always loved like dancehall music. I mean, like I played a lot of reggae music. Like when I still lived in New York, I had a lot of reggae bands and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then I got real kind of burnt out playing like because we used to play a lot of like roots reggae and stuff like that. And I mean, and I still love that stuff to this day. But I got really, really, really heavy into like 80s and 90s dance hall, you know. And I was just like, man, this is it. And then I even got into like dance hall up until this day. You know what I mean? Popcorn and Movado and all those guys. Yeah. I know a lot of people. I know that whole genre of music can be sort of like problematic and stuff like that, especially with like a lot of the lyrical content and all that. But I mean, just for me, like just like sonically speaking, I was really drawn to it. Especially because like the first music I ever really got into was punk rock music. So I was kind of like, I really felt like, and punks always liked reggae and everything like that. But like they always seem to stop at the root stuff. They never, I don't talk to a whole lot of like, older, punk kids, or I guess I'm not a punk kid anymore. I'm a fucking 36-year-old man. But people that grew up listening to punk, they always seem to stop at like the root stuff, like the 70s, like the Dennis Browns and the, you know what I mean, and Gregory Isaac stuff, mm-hmm. which I mean obviously I love too, but they never seem to get into the dance hall. And I always just thought it had the slickest like lyrics, like I mean aside from all the homophobic bullshit, but those songs would be like the funniest.
Sure,
you know what I mean, like the and dance hall is all about boasting, like modern dance hall, like no one like has bigger boasts in their song than like a modern dance hall guy, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just thought it was like, and the other thing about dancehall music is that like there's not a whole lot of chords in the song. A lot of them are like a 1-chord vamp.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was like playing music with you because I don't like playing a whole lot of chords in songs. Not because like I can't or I don't want to, but I just feel like like
you got movement, man. I don't got chords in my songs.
No, you do, but the songs that I always of yours that I was always drawn to the most were like the 3-chord,
Mhm.
maybe 4-chord ones. You know what I mean? That's why I like Sunday Morning so much, and I felt like you know, I've recorded like a lot of guitar parts like in my life or whatever, and I think the stuff that I recorded on that song, like that's, you know, if I had to like, you know, get into the pearly gates and God was like, you know, what do you think are some of your best guitar playing? I'd be like, that song would definitely be one of them. You know what I mean? And yeah, oh, yeah,
totally.
yeah, right. So so I always liked Love You Forever. I remember talking about me having kids. I remember like you first showed me that song. I was living down the street from you in Flatbush, and we would hang out a lot and just play a lot of music, record a lot of music. And I remember we were sitting in my living room, and it was late at night, and Chanel was like mad pregnant, you know, and I have my big Fender amp like in my living room, and you started playing this tune, and like I remember I played this part that was, which is actually still on. It's the part that the acoustic part is playing. But I remember playing this guitar line, and I was like, damn, I nailed it. Like first take, like I never even heard the song before, but for some reason I really connected to like what you were playing, what you were singing. And I just like, you know, it like, it wasn't even on the strength of my guitar playing or songwriting or arranging abilities. It was more in the strength of like how I felt about you playing that song. I was like, damn, this is a tune right here. And then I remember we recorded it at Rubber Tracks, and it was like we did like, it was like slow rock and roll, like a moody kind of rock and roll. And I didn't like it. I thought, even though that was the style that we did it in my living room, right? Like
we even playing it live like that.
Yeah. So we kept that vibe, and I don't know, I never liked the full band version. I was always like, you know, this we did it way better in my living room. We should just release that version. Just clean it up a little bit. And then I don't know, when I was like, yo, this is a straight up, I remember like, I'm thinking like, this is like a Wayne Wonder tune. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you got a much different like singing style. But I remember hearing it, I'm like, yo, this would sound fire with like I remember hearing like the Wayne Wonder, like I was listening to like a bunch of like Wayne Wonder and like that whole era dancehall. Yeah, like early, like mid 90s dancehall. And I was like, yo, this would sound fire over like, you know, something like The Saddest Day of My Life.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
kind of track, you know?
You went for.
Yeah. So I was like, I just remember being real hyped and being like, you know, because it is like, it's a slower song, you know, and you know, like the chords are, you know, the chords kind of stay the same. I know there's a bridge in it and everything like that, but I'm like, man, if we really bump up the track, you know, it like if the track moves really fast, it'll be a nice little juxtaposition between the, yo guys, hold on, I gotta. Hey, can you take Gus out of here for a second? You guys play in the living room? Thanks, buddy.
He's a stealer.
I know.
He stole 15 cookies.
No, he didn't. I took the cookies away. Hey, just give me like
pretend story.
Oh, all right. Give me like a little bit, all right? Just give me a little time. I just gotta talk to Ryan about this song we made real quick. All right. But yeah.
I watched them on the computer though.
All right, fine. You can watch them on the computer. Go ahead. So yeah, I always thought like, and that's what I like about.
Busy, then ask for the computer. You do it, kids. Right. Teddy mastered that, dude. He was like, yeah, okay, you busy? Cool. Let me get on the computer, pops.
Cool. Let me get what I want.
Yeah,
where you put those cookies at?
You too busy to talk to me right now? Bet. I love kids.
But no, but that's what I was always thinking, man. I was like, you know, it's a slower melody, but I was like, I always love, and I always think dance hall, especially like 90s style dance hall, I always feel like it's a perfect vehicle for a ballad. You know what I mean? Like a slower, sad song.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can still dance to it. You can still play it in the club, and people will lose their shit. Like, you know that Mad, what is it? I think it's Mad Cobra, and it's Tony Braxton's. What's that slow Tony Braxton song? You're Making Me High. Well, that's not, you know, that's not really a ballad, but if you know the dance hall version of that, like that song. And again, I think it's like a 1 or 2 chord vamp, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love the way that like dance hall is like this, especially modern dance hall, to me anyway. you know, it's the way I hear it, and like I'm not a Jamaican or anything like that. I'm just a long time appreciator of like the music and all that. But to me, it's like this really weird, like futuristic, like almost dystopian, like folk music. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes any sense.
Go into that more. What do you mean by that?
Like they keep a lot of the same. I mean, just the actual like the rhythm, dun, 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 dun,
Right.
dun, and or the other one, dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
like the two most popular sort of like
Yeah, I'm with you.
dancehall like drum beats are like those are like that's African, like those are are like straight African rhythms right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like they're very close to like the high life beat, you know, and it's just like a lot of them are just like it's like a one chord, you know, two chords, or you know what I mean. It's a lot of like the melodies are very just kind of like modal and just like it's just
one of the things that I appreciate about dancehall, like the dancehall rhythm, that like I don't know, I grew up in Jamaica for 10 years and still listen to it. So
yeah.
I don't think about the rhythm too much, but you have that like boom, 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 boom. And then like as I've gotten older, and I think you've known this too, the is it the son clave, the 3-2?
Yeah.
Like the 3-2, it's the dancehall rhythm taking out like the last three beats, right? It's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, right? It's just so like shifting those 3-2s, and you get, you know, whether it's like the Bo Diddley rhythm or dancehall or reggaeton or any of those, that social clave, that 3-2-2-3, I think rears its beautiful head all.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's all that stuff came from the same, you know, place really. Like, you know what I mean? It's all.
It's just
like,
different stops on the boat, man.
Yeah, man. You know, I mean, it's all like African music essentially. Like when you boil it down, it's all, you know, that's where all like a lot of those things come from, and you know, and even through all like the digitalization and the auto tune and everything like that. It's like to me anyway, I still hear like, you know, like I still hear like it's like a folk music. It's like all RoboCopped out now. Like, you know, it's all dressed up in like, you know, shiny digital beats, but I still hear to me anyway, you know.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think that happens. I align dancehall with rock and roll a lot, and it's the same thing, right? Like folk music turned pop music, taken from where it's originally from and gone all over the world. And then no matter what you do with it, you hear a blues lick, no matter on what kind of guitar, no matter on, I mean, you hear a blues lick on any instrument, and you're like, oh yeah, the blues. Yeah, that's the blues.
Oh yeah,
you put it on a synth, and it's still the blues. So yeah,
absolutely,
that vein rings true always. So you've heard the song. You've heard, I mean, you played bass on it, so you heard it being created. Yay, I mean, you can't tell me you don't like the song, goddammit. But when I was putting it together, I've never made a dancehall beat before or anything. I felt that the haze were necessary.
Oh yeah, on the chorus, right?
Yeah, I was like, I hear this being a dance, like, and I think even without you saying it, I had the, you know, I heard mid to late 90s style.
Yeah, like I'm expecting Buju Banton to jump out any second, like
first. But shout out to Atarchi, because he definitely came through, and I really love what he did on the verse. But originally, that was supposed to be Screechy Dan.
I know, and I lost that dude's phone number. I mean, you know, me and Screechy played in a band together for a while, you know, and that was like, man, when did I move out of New York? Like 2014. I've had like a million phones since then.
Was it really?
And just like so, yeah, man. Yeah, 2014 I moved out.
No way, man. No way.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's like going on 7 years now, I think.
You moved out of here before Trump was president?
Yeah.
What? I mean, I guess
Yeah.
27. Wow. Sorry,
Yeah.
got off track.
So like I didn't have Screechy's number anymore. And I'm like, I was trying to hit him up on like social media and stuff.
That
And it's
work.
like, cause yeah, I mean, dude, Screechy Dan is like, I mean, you can't talk about dance halls, especially like in New York City.
Yeah.
And him not be one of the first names that like immediately pops up, you know?
Yeah.
That
Man.
guy is so, I'm talking like the talent that man has. So we were doing the first Top Shotter record, and we had all this music written, we had all these rhythm, the horn parts, bass lines, everything was done, right? And we didn't have a singer at this point. And Mush was talking about like, oh, we can get a bunch of guys to come in, and I can get this guy to come in, because you know Mush knows like a lot of like Jamaican singers and
Sure.
and DJs and things like that. But he was like, yo, this guy Screechy Dan is gonna I think he's gonna sing in our band, you know? And I only know Screechy Dan from like one or two songs, you know? So I didn't know how, you know, and I mean, dude, all the like every Jamaican like singer I ever played with was always like, I always found to be like supremely talented, even if it was just like on a very like, you know, like even if they didn't know like any like, you know, stuff about like music, like, you know, whatever notes and scales and things like that. They'd always sing like right on, you know, right. They would always have the right pitch. They could always tell when shit was wrong. They'd be like, oh, I don't think you guys are playing this right. Da, 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 da. But yo, Screechy Dan was like, I'm like, this dude is like a musical powerhouse, man. So we had like 12 tunes already written, right? And he comes down to Mush's basement where we practiced, and we're like, okay, first rhythm, it kind of goes like this. We play it. He's on this stool with a mic in his hand, just kind of like bobbing his head, take it in, and then just picks up the mic, starts singing, right? And he's just like singing. They be chatting a bunch of lyrics and stuff like that. Yo, and he had hooks like for all these songs. Like he would sing a verse, and then he would like sing this like really, really good hook, like really catchy. Yo, and dude, and then we'd be like, all right, next rhythm, and we'd run we'd start playing. Same thing. He'd sit on the stool with the mic, nod his head, and after like whatever 16 bars, boom, pick up the mic and start singing, chat a bunch of lyrics, sing a hook, boom, we're done. And like, yo, he did this for like 12 songs, and I'm thinking, I go to Mush afterwards, and I'm like, oh, yo, how'd you get him? Like, would you record some practices? Because we didn't have an album out or anything at this point. We were just practicing in his basement. I was like, yo, what did you like? Would you record a couple of the songs and send it to him? He's like, no, like this is the first time he's ever heard any of this stuff. And I was just like, no fucking way, man. This dude just ripped like 12 or 13 songs in a row, like cold turkey. Never heard him before, and he had hooks for him, and they all ended up like on the record that way. I'm sure he might have tweaked some of the and or, you know, lyrics here or there, or like wrote a different verse, but I just remember sitting there back there on the drums, and I was like laughing. I was like, this is the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life.
Which record is this?
It's the first one.
Is this the first of two records? Because I have two records.
Yeah. I think I'd already left New York by the time they made the second record.
Okay.
So yeah, it's the first one. I think the second one is all like ska music.
I think so.
Yeah. But I mean, and dude, like, you know, I guess I've been playing music since I'm a kid, and you know, I did a lot of jazz music, so I'm used to people improvising stuff, and you know, a lot of times you're in a studio setting and you got to just come up with the bridge that's good because you need it or whatever. So like I'm used to people, you know, coming up with things on the fly. But like, dude, this guy Screechy Dan like literally just like wrote an album.
Man, improvised like, album in a basement.
Yo, like it was like a Tuesday night. Like it wasn't just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to my friend's spot, hear some music. Let me see if the vibe is right. And like this guy just crushed every tune. Wow. I'd never seen anything like that in my life.
Looking up, Mush had another, I think it was the record launch for the second album, and I went to that and saw him, and I was like, Screechy, I've been looking for you. I've been messaging you on everything. So obviously I already moved on by then, but I have his number now, and hopefully I can get something with him.
I don't know why that guy is not like one of the most famous. Like I'm talking like this guy is like John Lennon, Paul McCartney, like brilliant, man. I'm telling, like I've never seen nothing like that to this day, you know. And just like the sheer intuition like that guy has when it comes to just singing and just music, man, you know.
Things that I like about him, when I think I saw him play live, he sang like a he sang over the roots rhythm. He sang "There's a Moon Out Tonight."
Yeah. Over the Love I Can Feel.
Moons, like I've seen him so many times, but the first time I heard that, I was like, "Yo, hold up, who?" I'm at like a reggae show right now, and there's like a bunch of crust punk looking people around me, and this Jamaican dude, is singing "There's a Moon Out Tonight." That.
Yo, and man, let me tell you, I really took those times for granted, looking back on it. You know what I mean? Like, cause at that time, you know, I don't know, I wasn't in New York during COVID and stuff like that. You know, like I said, I moved out in 2014, and you know, I moved to New Jersey first, and New Jersey's still a hotbed of musical talent. I know a lot of people could talk a lot of shit about the state of New Jersey, but I'm saying like if you want to start a band and you're a musician and you end up in New Jersey, there's a lot worse places you could end up. Like most cats in New Jersey can really play, like irrespective of the style. Like you play punk, you play like indie rock, like you're gonna find some real quality people, bro. I live up in Connecticut now. It's like it's sad up here, man. There's no you're either like
at, bro.
Church. Huh?
There's no music scene where you're at.
No, there is. There's a couple little punk houses like here and there. But like, dude, pound for pound, it's like, dude, I've been up here 5 years and I've run into maybe like, I could count on like one hand people who can actually like play, write, arrange, you know, have a good feeling for music. Most people up here, man, they're like, they do like acoustic cover songs and they like jam bands and Fish, you know, but like, so, but but my point is like, yo, when we were, you know, going to all those places like the Lake and whatever, Otto Shrunken Head and, you know, Mush's Basement, like you, after a while, man, you get spoiled and you take that shit for granted. Like, yeah, whatever. Like, yeah, I'm going to go to a party tonight and all these wild ass Jamaican singers are going to be there, like tearing shit up. Like after a while, it almost you're just like, yeah, this is just what I do on a Friday night. Like,
being spoiled. You're right. People do get used to that.
Yeah.
I think the pandemic, you moving from out of Connecticut, and the pandemic definitely, you know, awakens people.
But I'm just,
oh shit, I had something beautiful.
Yeah. Like I was, sometimes I'll like reminisce, I'll throw on some like, I'll go on YouTube and I'll like look up some old like videos and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, like I didn't realize how like kind of special all that kind of stuff was. Like that was some real like kind of 1980s like Lower East Side kind of thing. You know, like you're right. They were like, it was like whatever, like these like Spanish like anarchist punk kids and like
yeah, the Lake was
Jamaican, like everybody in between.
I caught the very end of I don't know how long it was around, but I think DBS showed me the Lake for the first time. Then I ended up going there a couple times, seen a couple shows. It was a great spot, man. I always felt like special there. And it was like,
yeah,
oh, like some, not everybody knows about this.
Yeah,
it was hot and nasty, and you couldn't wait for the sets to be over so you can go in the backyard and smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, good times,
man. Like I said, maybe there is something sort of like that up here, but like I haven't found it, and I'm usually pretty good at sniffing that kind of thing out.
For sure, there's something like that everywhere. It just might not be for your age or your
Right? Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, like you take that, and I know New York nightlife and whatever, the culture, especially, you know, with the last however many years, the rent's just going through the roof, and you know, like stuff getting like gentrified to high hell. I know, like that kind of scene, that kind of stuff really took a hit, you know.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, man, dude, you never know. I don't know, maybe it's youth or something like that, but you never really know like how how cool some shit is until you're like looking back on it like, damn.
Joni Mitchell never lie, man.
Yo.
Q-Tip already said it. Joni Mitchell never lie. So that's how
It's
it
true.
goes. Well,
That's true.
let's wrap the official thing, and then we can chit chat a little bit.
Yeah.
Folks, that's anything else you want to say about Love You Forever? We kind of got off on different tangents, talked about the greatness that is Screechy Dan, the not so greatness that is the what are you in New Haven?
Yeah.
Music.
I could be anywhere in Connecticut. I think it's
Right.
all kind of
Yeah.
I think it's all kind of the same.
For
For the record, it was not my idea to move up here, but you know, life is a funny thing, right? Yeah, no, I really love what you did with the track, man. I really do. And you know, you actually hit on one of my favorite sort of sonic kind of like combinations. I love like old ratty, thin sounding like acoustic guitars over like hard ass hip hop dance hall kind of beats. Like I was never a big Tupac fan, you know, and I went through his whole catalog, so I understand he's like, you know, like I always loved Nas and like Biggie, of course, you know, but like everyone was always like, yeah, Tupac. So like, all right, we're gonna listen to all this Tupac, and like none of it ever really. I don't know if it was the production, you know what I mean, because it was a very different production style.
You're making. I can't really hear you clearly.
Oh, can you? Where did I cut off?
I mean, you didn't cut off. It's just your P's are very loud, and then everything else.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, so like, you know, I always listen to Nas and Biggie, but like, and Jay-Z, and like, you know, all the East Coast guys, like Memphis Bleak and all them, whatever. But like, I never really loved like Tupac or anything like that. I don't know if it was like a West Coast thing because of like, you know, the production style was way different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but I always remember that his "Me and My Girlfriend" song. Yeah, I was like, this is like the hardest beat like, you know, because it's like this real hard like 90s hip hop, and it's got that really cool like steel string, and the guy's kind of, you know, he's kind of playing this weird almost like flamenco like mariachi style over it. But I love that vibe. I love like digital drums and like an old ratty like acoustic guitar, you know.
And yeah,
I
you played my old handmade 1940s joint.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bitch of a guitar to play, my friend. I don't have that to play. I have that to talk about and to look at. Yeah, you saw it and you're like, yeah, let's play it on that. And you wrestled that thing. And yeah, no, it is the rattiest sounding guitar I have. And it definitely did justice on that track. But no, that's a real good point to bring up, man. Thanks. So that was really your choice. I would not have used that guitar.
Well, see, I'm a firm believer that like, you know, you got to have like big heavy strings. I like high action, like, you know what I mean. I really feel like, you know, yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of amps out there. There's a lot of guitar pedals. I never really fucked with any, you know. I had one amp since I'm like 16 years old. I never really messed with pedals. I was the only guy when I used to tour. Like the sound guy would be like, "Oh, where are you gonna plug your pedal board in? You need to say." I'm like, "Dude, I don't have any pedals. I don't have like a single." And I was playing lead guitar in that rock band, and I never used to use anything. I used to just use the volume knob, you know. And so I was always a firm believer that like, you know, all this sound is like really coming from like the guitar and your fingers and the way that you play it, which maybe is the reason I'm having carpal tunnel surgery.
I mean, I don't laugh at your surgery, but
I mean, dude, I used to play I play a Stratocaster with like 12 to 13 gauge flat wound strings on it. You know what I mean? And my acoustic guitar, same way. It's like 13 gauge, like big old like nickel strings. I think heavy strings and high action, like that's, if you really want like an amazing tone, like that's the way to go. You know,
kids, heavy string, high action, but then in a couple of years, maybe carpal tunnel syndrome.
Maybe you might get a pinched nerve in your neck while you're at it too. You know,
might. So this has been the Love in 3 Acts podcast with the whatever number episode this is. This is the Love You Forever episode featuring Patrick Meyer. Pat, you want to say goodbye to the people?
Yeah, man. Thanks for listening, Brian. Thanks for making the track. Thanks for always including me, in your music, man. We've been doing this thing a long time, and I've cherished every minute of it, honestly.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, right before I go, I want to say that sometimes I think to myself, I need a circle. I don't have a circle. And then I look back at the work I do and I'm like, yo, you work with the same people. You work with the same 4 to 8 people. You have a circle. You have your collective. And
Yeah.
definitely part of that. So
Thank you, man.
Part of this, man. Check out the next episode, people. See you till next time. Peace out.
You can sleep, 'cause I love you forever, till an ocean becomes a desert. Roll a dice, got a lucky surf.